So we ended up going even deeper within this region that I've been tracking for the past few days now. And you can see that on the move to the downside, we ended up crossing this level at 64.26 cents, which is our wave one origin within this 5-wave move to the upside that I tracked previously. And because we ended up crossing this level, that then confirmed that we were bearish, which is contrary to what I was talking about in my previous video, where I was looking for ADA to tap into this region here and then see a deeper move to the downside. But that move to the downside came sooner rather than later. Now, as you guys probably know by now, this move to the downside was caused by the feud that's taken place between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And of course, that's causing a lot of FUD within the space right now. And in fact, before I move on, what you can see is on Tesla. Tesla has actually dropped by around 25%. And bear in mind, I'm actually heavily invested in Tesla amongst other stocks as well. And so, yeah, as you can see, we ended up moving by around 25%. And so what I would say is to trade carefully if you're trading. Reason being, markets are really volatile as things stand at the moment. And bear in mind, this 25% move to the downside, I'm not overly concerned about. And reason being, I do see this as a really good opportunity to be buying in at low price. And in the long run, I'm still bullish. But of course, I'm not here to talk about Tesla. And so if I go back to ADA, one thing that I wanted to touch up on was this wave structure that I've been tracking for the past few weeks now. And as you guys know, I've been tracking a WXY structure where I was looking for the Y wave to reach this region here between 66 cents to 69 cents. And this Y wave was made up of a WXY structure, with that Y wave target being slightly deeper and reaching towards that 64.9 cent mark. And as you can see, we ended up tapping into both regions. But in addition to that, what you can see is we ended up going even deeper than these two regions. And so it's possible that what we are forming instead is a WXYXZ structure as opposed to a WXY structure. And the interesting thing about that is I've seen a similar pattern play out on a few charts that I've been tracking. And so, for example, if I go in the Bitcoin chart very quickly, I've been tracking a WXYXZ structure where I was looking for the Z wave to reach this region between $100,490 to $101,664,000, which we ended up doing. And since then, we saw a pump to the upside where we then retested the 200 DMA. And the same can be said on the Algorand chart that I'm tracking, where I'm looking for Algorand to reach this region between 15 to 16 cents. And same can be said for XRP, where I'm looking for XRP to reach this region between $1.90 to $1.96. So if I go back to the ADA chart, it's possible that if we continue to see low lows, what we are forming is a WXYXZ structure. And so what I'll do is I will set out those targets for that Z wave, which is typically a 1 to 1.236 retracement of the W wave. So if I bring this to over here, and this local top, as you can see, falls short of this target here that I set out in my previous video, which is similar to what took place over here. And because we ended up falling short, that then led to a negative reaction. And so a similar scenario could play out where we see a negative reaction. And should that be the case, ADA has the potential to reach anywhere between 55.46 cents to 58.1 cent. So around here. Now, one thing that we do have to be mindful of actually also is a 5-wave move playing out as opposed to a WXYXZ structure. And for that to happen, the wave 3 would need to be a 1.618 retracement of the wave 1. So if I bring this down to the right position, so essentially this would need to be our wave 3, and that wave 3 would need to retrace towards this level here at 61.2 cents. And if that happens, then that will then trigger a 5-wave move, and then we see a deeper move to the downside. And not only will we see ADA potentially tap into this region, we could see a deeper move to the downside where we break this low at 51 cents and tap into this region between 35.7 cents to 44.81 cents. And the reason being is because a 5-wave move is what sets the trend. And so if you have a 5-wave move to the downside, we will anticipate a deeper move to the downside. And if we have a 5-wave move to the upside, then we will anticipate a bigger move to the upside. And so if I remove this, as far as the stochastic RSI goes, you can see that on the hourly chart, we were within the, in fact, we actually were still within the overbought conditions. And so the bulls are now losing that momentum and the bears could begin to take control of the market. And as you can see, we are now on the brink of retesting the 50 EMA during the time of recording. And if I go in the 4-hour chart, what you can see is once it loads up, we are on the brink of reaching the overbought conditions once again. And so the bulls still have the momentum, technically speaking, to continue to drive the price of ADA up. And so it will be interesting to see if ADA actually retests the 50 EMA. And if it does so, then that would then invalidate that 5-wave move that I was talking about not long ago. And instead, what we'll have forming is a potential WXYXZ structure towards this region here. And if I go on the daily chart, what you can see is the target that I actually set out in my previous video actually coincides with the 50 EMA and the 200 DMA. And if I zoom in, what you can see is the 50 EMA ended up crossing the 200 DMA, which is something I've been talking about for the past couple of days now. And this is known as a death cross, which usually on the daily chart on ADA leads to a negative reaction for an extended period of time. And so it is looking like we are slightly bearish as things stand at the moment. And with that being said, we are within the oversold conditions, and so the bulls could regain control of the market. And if it does so, it will be interesting to see if ADA can actually retest these EMA levels and then see that deeper move to the downside, where we then potentially tap into this region here. And so that's just my update on Cardano ADA. Hopefully you found this useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit that like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.